Tony D and Little Joan with a screenwriter's rant on Am I Racist? A Matt Walsh film, kind of like What is a Woman, except this one's about race. Smash a like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. The links are in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 14, excuse me. Available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. So what is this? This is The Daily Show from the other side, basically, which I don't have a problem with. The Daily Show, when it started, and they went after various politicians and took the air out of their shirts, I'm perfectly fine with that. It was when they became so unbelievably partisan. And who knows, the Daily Wire will, at least the Daily Wire is partisan. The Daily Show didn't present itself that way. But basically, it's Matt Walsh doing his character from, what was the name of the movie? Lady Ballers. So in Lady Ballers, he played a character with a man bun. So I guess they probably shot this shortly after that. And he played a character like this. He was soft and liberal. And so basically, the bar is so low that you could just dress up as a liberal, take on liberal traits, and pretty much as long as your politics are good, these people will accept you. You'll notice in the beginning of this trailer, he's just Matt Walsh. Nobody really recognizes Matt Walsh. You had to sort of be a Daily Wire subscriber. And he interviews a bunch of people. He gets thrown out of what looks like some sort of race-based meeting or class or whatever. But then when he puts on the man bun and more of a liberal-looking sort of college professor look, more people accept him. And he's able to, I don't know how, this one looks a little bit set up where I don't know how they're shooting this and have it, like, are they undercover at a fancy dinner? This one might be fake. This looks like a local TV show. But I don't know, somehow he got the footage, I guess. So, and then eventually he becomes one of these liberal guys who tries to figure out, racism using this pseudoscience that liberals use. And here they do a shtick where they want to turn the George Washington Monument to the George Floyd Monument and paint it black. And so it'll be fun stuff like What is a Woman? And, and it's designed to poke the holes in these stuffed shirts. In this case, very woke people. But the biggest moment in this entire thing is Matt Walsh having a meeting or some sort of deal with Robin DiAngelo, who's the author of White Fragility, who apparently doesn't know who Matt Walsh is. Which isn't surprising, because I was just saying to someone the other day how Democrats do not know Republicans. Republicans know Democrat news sources and figures and the various factions, but not the other way around. They just broadly paint, at this point, they didn't always act that way, but now they just broadly paint anybody who's not in their movement with a broad brush and say, yeah, you're a gun nut, you're religious, you wear a MAGA hat, and go F yourself because you're an ignorant, racist hillbilly. And that's, that unfortunately is their mode when talking about anyone who's not in their circle. So I would totally see this. I hope I get to see it. Somebody loaned me their Daily Wire password so I could watch What is a Woman. It was really great. So it's not a documentary. It's kind of half documentary and half like undercover and part Borat, because he's obviously going to do things that just make people, I mean, the George Floyd Monument is going to is designed to evoke a response out of people. And either you're going to get people who are super enthusiastic and crazy, or people who go, what the F? And making Robert DiAngelo look like a moron. Yeah, sign me up. In September, in theaters, September 13th. Wow. I might have to go to the theaters for this one. This is produced and directed by Justin Folk. Obviously, it doesn't really have a writer. I guess you could count Matt Walsh as the writer. I'm sure him and his crew came up with most of the ideas. And a lot of these kinds of movies work because, like, Matt Walsh is famous enough to do this movie, but not so famous that everybody would instantly recognize him on the street. In fact, most people wouldn't. I would recognize him because I watch his videos on occasion. Right-wingers would tend to recognize him, but people on the left, not a chance. That would be very unusual for someone on the left side of politics to recognize Matt Walsh just right out the gate. He's just not famous enough to hit their radar. And like I said, they just don't know their opposition anymore. They seem to be completely tuned out. So obviously this isn't a narrative, so I can't break down a 3-act structure, but it sort of does have one. The first act, or first section of the movie, will be Matt sort of laying the groundwork and basically laying out his case. Like, what are we going to see? In the first movie, it was, these people say, what is a woman, and do I really know what a woman is? So he's sort of approaching it from a similar stance about race. Are white men privileged? He asks a few people, and they're like, oh, of course. And at first, he doesn't really get anywhere, and then he decides to go undercover. So the second act is him and his character attending all these various meetings, and eventually starting his own little group about doing the work, and it's all really about racism. And he'll interview various people, many of them insane, some of them sane, as contrast. And then the third act will be Robin DiAngelo probably making a fool out of herself, saying a bunch of nonsense, and Matt sort of questioning her, and but without giving away the game, I think. Although maybe at the end he gives it away. Maybe she recognizes him. So, yeah, good on him. I gotta say, the Daily Wire, they make some good stuff. But I'll throw in one caution. So did The Daily Show. The Daily Show in the beginning was really good. In the very, very beginning. This was during the Bush era. And they would make fun of Bush and the various Bushites. And they deserved it. They were, hyped up establishment figures. This is doing the same thing. The question is, what will happen if finally we get Trump back in office and a bunch of these people finally go out of power, the neo-libs collapse, maybe even the Democratic Party? Will an organization like the Daily Wire still continue to go after people on the left as the Daily Show continued to go after people on the right, way beyond, to the point at which they were actually framing people up to look bad. And some of the other shows on Comedy Central, in my opinion, did that. The Jim Jeffries shows and Avi Yemeni. Watch those videos if you get a chance. So I don't want to see the Daily Wire do that. I don't think they will. I like to think they won't because they're more honest. Maybe they'll just stop doing them. Because as the politics get less extreme, these sort of movies work less. So they're less, if we get back to a point at which things are relatively normal, people will have less interest in seeing any political movie. They want to go back to seeing entertainment, God forbid. Anyhow, I look forward to see it. And that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on the other links, the green site, the orange site, and the black site that have other videos. We make 4 videos a day. So if you want to see the political stuff, go over there. Otherwise, stick with the movies. I know this one was kind of political. Anyhow, what's coming up? Tomorrow, I'll be at the Millville Public Library at 6:30 for my talk on how to hunt the Jersey Devil. I'll be at the Unexpected Farm on Friday at 7 for a talk on how to hunt the Jersey Devil. Thanks to all who came out to the farmstead in Medford for my talk on how to hunt the Jersey Devil. Hope to see you at the next one. We'll see you tomorrow.